That's another key aspect of doing stuff like this is chances are if you really need to use your firearm in a self-defense scenario, it's not going to be set up for perfect shooting conditions. This is exactly why I wanted to do this. That is not a failure of the gun. Where did I have that gun? I hope that caught on tape. In owning a handgun for self-defense purposes, I think one aspect that is often ignored is the exploration of areas where you might be in need of using that firearm to protect yourself. We spend a lot of time in our cars, and it's something to think about how to manipulate your weapon inside the car. Now, before we get too much into this, guys, I'm not trying to come off like a tactical expert. I am not. I'm not trying to come off and teaching this stuff. This is more of a thought process for me, and I want to share it with you guys to generate thought and discussion surrounding this subject. It's much like, as I always say, that basement discussion that you're having with your buddies saying, how would you handle this situation? Most importantly for me is I'm drawing from another discipline of life, that being the martial arts, to help fine-tune this movement into what I think should work best for me. Shooting while inside the car, I've seen it described two different ways. The one thing that I really agree with, again guys, remember this is a basement discussion, I'm not trying to come off as an expert here, is when you draw your firearm, and we're running dry right now, you've got to twist that muzzle up quickly and then bring it on target. Why? Because we don't want to drag that muzzle across your legs. You've got femoral arteries, and if you shoot yourself in the excitement, you're going to bleed out most likely. Now, this is where I've seen some differences, and that is with the muzzle. I've heard some people talk about you're going to trace the outside of your steering wheel. That helps keep it away from your legs and keep the muzzle up. Now again, in this scenario, my threat is just off camera here, 45 degrees. Criticism that I've heard of this method is once that firearm is drawn, if you miss going up above the steering wheel, you might come across inside the steering wheel and get it caught. So that's some thought on that process. To counteract that, that muzzle comes up and the gun stays in between you and the steering wheel. Now, this is where I draw on my other experiences of life, and that is this. This is an inward block. And the point of that is if someone's coming with a roundhouse punch, I don't want to block out and around and in. What I want to do is it's just going to be boom right here, because it's a straight line. I'm going to meet that attack much quicker. And that's where my thought process comes in drawing my firearm up, spin, and that's basically that same or very similar movement to that inward block. It's going to be quicker to move it this way. Again guys, this is just my thought process, as opposed to going over the steering wheel. There's just a lot, to me, there's a lot of wasted movement by doing that, as opposed to coming straight across like this. So I'm going to keep everything compact, draw, muzzle up, out, and then engage target. Now before we go live fire with this, I'm just going to try it kind of slow, do some dry fire practicing, and just get the rhythm down. Now we're moving to live fire on this. Notice I've got my seatbelt on. I'm mimicking the way that I would actually carry, and that is the 3 o'clock position right on my hip. And how does my seatbelt interfere with this? How does the steering wheel? How does these confined spaces? How does the side of the window, the mirror, all these things. Pull up, bring that muzzle up to avoid sweeping my legs. Straight line out. Okay, this is exactly why I wanted to do this. Now that is not a failure of the gun. Where did I have that gun? I hope that caught on tape. I've got it right up here close to the window so it didn't allow for that shell to eject properly. And got a pretty nasty one there. All right, there's our first round. That's interesting, telling, and lots of fun. You know, I got out here about 7 o'clock in the morning and I wanted to beat the heat, and now it's raining. I love it. It's nice out here. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna do another 9 rounds, and I just wanna work through the scenario, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the target and move it so that I have to, you know, shoot in a little more uncomfortable position. Those first 2 I was going with headshots on the target. I'm going to show you the target in just a minute. What's interesting there, I noticed, is I didn't even use the sights. That was more point shooting. Now you'll see that one bounced off and shot that brass right back into my face. And it just gives you a distraction. So there's my shots. Let's go take a look at the target. So you can kind of see where the target is in relation to the car. I had to back it off a little bit actually because of the steel. I forgot my paper targets. I didn't want it too close. You can see there's my shot placement. Again, these 3 right here are going for the head, and then this is body. So here's my viewpoint. You can see the rain there. Oh my gosh, it feels so good. It's been too hot lately. We come out and there's the target. Oh, that's different. That stretches the body, and that's certainly an uncomfortable position to shoot from. But that's another key aspect of doing stuff like this is chances are if you really need to use your firearm in a self-defense scenario, it's not going to be set up for perfect shooting conditions. Again, in all honesty there, I find myself not using the sights. I'm not consciously doing that. It's just point shoot at the target. Beautiful! That last one was a headshot. I did aim, did use the sights on that one. And let's go take a look. So as we come down here and look, there should be my 9 shots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's my last shot. Nice placement there. That was a lot of fun and very interesting. to say the least. But let's talk about some of the limitations that this drill isn't going to flush out in an actual scenario. Oh, excuse me. And that is, typically when I drive, be it winter or summer, I have the windows up. Right now, as I'm rolling down my windows, right, because I don't want to shoot through them for the video. Sorry, guys. I've got extra room to go out where I might be a little more confined. That's something I really didn't think of when I was doing that. Maybe I should have tried shooting from here a little bit more as if the window were up. In that case of the window up, what is that window going to do to the bullet? I would love if I could afford to shoot out a window. That would be interesting. Now, you guys might know too, these windows, these side windows are built different than the windshield. Windshield is going to be a little more difficult to deal with if you have to shoot through. And again, likewise on this other side with that window being up or down. Another limitation in all of these cases that I try and think about and come out here and actually walk through with live fire is that the stress level certainly is not going to be there as if it were in a real situation. And that's just, it's hard to duplicate. And the last limitation that stands out to me per this scenario is the target is certainly a stationary target. It's not moving. It's not advancing. It's not moving sideways. So while this does have a lot of limitations that we have to consider, it's certainly better than not coming out here and practicing at all. And I cannot tell you how fortunate I feel that I actually have areas where I can do that, because I know a lot of you guys don't. Thanks guys for watching. This is a fun one to kind of think about. I hope it generates a lot of discussion and thought in your mind in how you might handle a situation like this. Ow.